Hey there.
Hello, Council Linder.
Counselor, how are you doing?
Doing okay. Thank you. How are you guys?
Well, we're hanging in there. I'm waiting for Counselor Williams, and I think we'll get started. And we're started, Steve.
All right, sir.
I have.
Oh, yes, please.
I like. I'm supposed to do something.
Still the Parts Committee.
Get away from me.
Get away from me.
Okay. What did we get? Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. So we've got our city council work session for August 12th, 2024. Welcome, everyone. So we're having a work session tonight. No decisions are going to be made. We've got our primary topic tonight is the library. We have a couple guests here. I wanted, before we get started with our guests and having them over here and talking with us, Steve, could you give us an update with regard to the library? Anything new going on? Any happenings there?
Okay, certainly. As you know, we've been ongoing getting the city, both the IGA, but more specifically, since the property use easement was brought to our attention, it's been given to our attorney. And as of this last week, it's also been, we have both Mr. Vance Croney, who is the Benton County Counsel, and our counsel, Lori Cooper, have both been introduced to each other and are both going over the property use easement. The property use easement is what governs the use of the building, and essentially, in its very first recital, says that it shall be used as a library. So that's it. However, there's other language in there that because how the property use easement was originally from SBCE, South Benton Community Enhancement Association, was originally to Benton County, and then Benton County quit claimed it to the city of Monroe. So the language in there is still kind of referencing Benton County. And so what we're doing is trying to untangle what that means if it's quit claimed over to us. So it's not straightforward. Let's just in my conversations as of today, it's not straightforward. So we will let the attorneys figure it out and let us know what exactly that means to us. But in essence, that's kind of the main thing. I mean, the easement itself governs the use of the library, period. So we can't do anything with that building. We can't do any other activities other than use it as a library. And that's not necessarily defined, but that's what it states. So at this point, although we have folks here to talk about cost shares and everything else, IGAs is really, in a way, before the easement is understood, so you understand it, is a bit like putting the cart before the horse. You need to understand what the underlying legal requirements for that building are before we can negotiate an IGA that should fit what the easement actually says for us. Whether that was understood in 2013 when council first came to council, I don't know. Only Councilor Myers could probably tell us because he was on council at that time, as you're aware. I do know that the quitclaim deed from the county and the associated easement arrived to City Hall early October, so about 2.5 months after the council meeting. It appears it was filed in the dark recesses of Monroe's file cabinets up until recently when we unburied it after it was brought to our attention. So in essence, that's kind of where we're at right now, is trying to figure it out, if you will. But it's the attorneys that are doing that, not I'm just relaying at this point. And when the attorneys are done, they will let us know.
Okay. Go ahead.
How are we on time frame? Because I know we had a,
September 30th is how
The
the current IGA.
Okay.
So the IGA references the services.
Mhm.
Okay. So the easement that we have references the property and its use. So Corvallis provides services for that. Okay, so they're really two separate things, but the original, the 2011 IGA also has elements in it of what turned out to be the 2011 easement. So both have reference kind of sort of each other, but that's what we're trying to figure out. And so the easement, the IGA as we have right now for library services from Corvallis is September 30th. To be clear, if the IGA does not extend, then Corvallis's services end. But that does not mean the building ends. It's still a library,
Mhm.
regardless of
Right.
who is in there running it.
Okay. Any other questions for Steve?
Yeah, I'm not sure I fully understand that last statement. So if our IGA runs out in September, the end of September,
Mhm.
then as dictated by the easement, it needs to be used as a library, and it doesn't matter what entity comes and manages the library?
Correct.
Mhm.
It has to be used as a library for generations and generations, quote unquote.
Okay,
Does not say who does it, other than, I take that back. It does stipulate in there that public access will be dictated by Benton County and Corvallis, but that was in the original verbiage when it was transferred from SBCE to Benton County. The assumption at that point would be that Benton County would manage how it was taken care of. Benton County ended up quit claiming it or transferring it to us. Now, whether we understood all that, I have no clue.
right.
But correct, it has to be used as a library, but that is the overriding
Mhm.
language. Now, having said that, because there's this other language in there, our attorneys are trying to figure that out. It's not, as I said, it's not as simple as just,
Right.
I don't want to make blanket statements that somehow make it simple, because it really isn't.
So what was quit, I can never say that word, quit claim. Was it the easement that was quit claim? Because we don't have any property rights.
Okay. The quit claim transferred the property to the city, did transfer the property to, according to our attorney who has reread it again, it does transfer the property to the city.
From who, so it transferred, who was the original owner, the SBCE?
E,
To-
who gave it to Benton County, Benton County quit claimed it to us. It's confusing.
Okay,
And that's where it's at. Now, the language in the easement referenced do not, so basically, let's say, for instance, that we decided we don't want anything more to do with it.
mhm.
Who gets it back? We don't know.
Well, we can quit claim the easement,
We could if Benton County accepted it.
true.
Say,
Right.
there you go. So it's not, as I just said, it's not. So is it Benton County because Benton County quit claimed it to us, or is it the SBCE? If we decide to use it as anything other than a library
Mm.
at that point, then who is going to hold us accountable? Benton
Okay.
County or SBCE? See, that's kind of the question right now, but I'm not suggesting at all that we would do anything like that.
Right, I just want to know what the options are at
Yeah,
this
at
point.
this
Right.
point, at this
Sure.
point, the options are going to be,
Mhm.
the attorney is still weighing in, and that's kind of my report as of this moment, as of the email I received this morning from our attorney. She is working with Mr. Crony, the Benton County Council, and she's also working with people in the office, their local government law group, to understand and then help us understand what it is and what our options are. Because at this point, we don't exactly know. We basically know, but we don't exactly know. So that's what I want to reference, is that making decisions at this point is not, we just don't have enough information to
But
do that.
I absolutely agree and understand fully, but it doesn't mean that we can't still consider still operating under an IGA and what those cost sharing opportunities look like and moving
Sure,
forward.
you
I would
can-
still like to know what's on the table.
Just gather as much tonight, gather as much information as you can. Just understand that the underlying agreement is still under discussion with attorneys, and they will let us know once they reach understanding. And that is really, I think, the operative word that I used was reach understanding. So that we're not confused. So I think those are the operative words. And I think the deputy administrative assistant, Krager, said the same thing. Thank you for not being confused. Trying to reach out so that we have mutual understanding of this.
Thank you, Steve.
Counselor, could you adjust the flag so the sun's not in the commissioner's eye?
I'll get this one.
Like we can just get a blind or a poster board or something.
I like the flag. See, you see how patriotic that is.
Do anything for her.
There we go.
It's not much any better.
Sorry.
We tried. Thank you for trying.
I think it's the reflection off the table.
Oh, could very well be,
Yeah.
okay. All right, any other questions? Counselor Lindner, did you have any questions before we invite our guests up for questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
I mean, Counselor Williams asked for the clarification that I would have asked also. Thank you, Counselor.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and Ashley and Rick, go ahead and come on up. So Ashley Chavez is our library director, and Rick Krager, you're the deputy county administrator, correct?
There we go. You got it right there. And please go ahead and turn your button on there.
Yeah.
There we go.
There.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself. I mean, I already did, but if there was anything introductory you wanted to say. Start.
Hi, I'm Ashley Chavez, Library Director. We've met before. Thanks for having me here tonight.
Of course.
Good morning, Good morning, counselors. I'm Rick Krager. I'm the Assistant County Administrator for here in Benton County. So thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Okay, so did you have anything that you wanted to share with us this evening?
Well, as you hopefully received, I sent a copy of a proposal of an IGA and a memo that kind of tried to address the variety of concerns I've heard over the course of the meetings that we've had together. It's
Mhm.
my desire to continue to provide library services.
Of course. Mhm.
And you've stated that you're interested in continuing to have
Yes.
library services in the
Mhm.
Monroe Community Library. And ultimately, I think it's a goal that we should continue to work towards.
Absolutely.
And so I'm hopeful that, what I shared gets us closer to, what you're hoping for and addresses your concerns. Obviously, I'm not able to sort of make right, so to speak, every concern, but hope I've done a adequate job in explaining kind of the structure of the system, the limitations that we currently have, and provide some options on the table to help get us through to having maybe larger conversations about structure. So I'd love your feedback on that.
Okay. Do we have the proposal on?
No, I don't. Did you send a proposal? If you did, I very apologize. I did not anything.
Yeah, on August 6th, I sent
Okay.
a memo and a draft proposal of the
Okay.
of a new IGA and asked for the administrator to share that with you. So I apologize, I did not bring copies for everyone.
Okay. Okay, well,
Could you tell us about it then?
yeah.
That's not too,
I mean, yes, I could. It's a 2-page memo attempting
Okay.
to
Okay.
address your concerns. And I took the draft IGA that was provided by the city administrator on June
Mhm.
21st
Mhm.
and tried to incorporate as much of his suggestions that I felt were something that we can make work. And then, put some other options in
Okay.
there. I think it would be best to discuss it if you have it in front of you, and then we
Is-
could.
I'm sorry, I
But-
didn't mean to disrupt you. I
That's
I
okay.
apologize. Could we pull it up via email?
I
No?
don't have it. I'm sorry. I mean, I would have provided it if I
Okay,
received it, but I did not.
maybe we just got lost in,
I'm sorry. I mean, I apologize, but I did not receive it. So,
Okay, I mean, I did send it, but
okay,
I
I
understand.
trust you.
So I essentially, I guess I'll make sure that you get it for our next meeting, but one of the main things that I shared was an offer to use library funds that we currently have in a reserve as a one-time offer to pay 75% of the electricity bill for this fiscal year. That matches what is offered to the Alsea Community Effort that owns the Alsea Community Library. So I thought there was some parity there. And it's fairly comparable to the janitorial costs, at least according to the adopted budget you have for this year. So I was hoping providing that cost forward, hearing your concerns about janitorial would provide us some time to get an IGA in place, alleviate financial concerns a little bit, but not step on the more challenging equity piece, and then give us time to have larger conversations about structure of the system. And also, of course, offered if there's a need for more financial assistance than that, once we understand what that might be, help support fundraising efforts, the library could do that. I also included that the reservation of the library meeting rooms could, either one of us could do that task depending on what the city of Monroe would like. And then the last thing one of the bigger things that was included was if the library does something outside of the scope of service, but let me rephrase that. Let's say the library were to have a Halloween program on a day it's not normally open, and then that requires additional cleaning services that wouldn't normally have needed to happen. We could come up with, an additional MOU that maybe says, hey, something like that would mean an extra 2 hours of cleaning, an hourly rate of XYZ. We would invoice you, that kind of thing. So put all of that together in a document, and, whether or not you want to discuss that, I understand since you don't have it in front of you.
Yeah, I think I mean, we definitely need to discuss it. And our current IGA expires the end of September, is that right?
yeah.
That's correct.
And Ashley, the 75% coverage of the electric bill, is that just through the end of September, or is that like indefinitely?
It was for this current fiscal year, so fiscal year 24-25.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Are you on a calendar year, or what's the fiscal year? Are you operating under the same fiscal year we are? Okay.
So well, obviously we could talk about, we're getting further into it. So, I mean, we could talk about whether or not that includes retroactive or not, but we're still pretty close to the beginning of the fiscal year. So I was thinking that would help alleviate the concerns for this fiscal year as and then kind of take away some of the, I think we're trying to do a lot of work under a small time constraint, which is difficult and makes conversation challenging.
Yes.
So was hoping that would kind of be enough for us to say, okay, yes, this works. We can sign an IGA. And then, if we want to have larger conversations about, other bigger structural changes of funding, then we can have the time and space and bring in other stakeholders to do that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Ashley, do you happen to have your work email on your phone? Like, would you be able to forward that to Steve again? Or
Yes, but Mr. Krager forwarded to me, so I'll be able to forward it on to you folks.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Is any other comments, questions? We've got Go ahead.
Well, I don't, I'll add a little bit.
Okay, go
to
ahead,
this.
please.
So as in relation to the IGA you're looking
Mm-hmm.
at, as I think you all know, it's a tri-party agreement. It's between the city of Monroe, city of Corvallis, and
Right.
Benton County.
Mhm.
Typically, we, as the county, would not be involved in any of these IGA.
Mhm.
City of Corvallis, we are the service district that collects for the library,
Mhm.
basically the tax collector. That money is then passed on to the city of Corvallis, who essentially provides the services to the community. So typically, you would see a library service agreement between the city, the two cities. In this case, and just to add a little context to what Steve was talking about earlier with the building, not to confuse things, but to kind of go back in time, I believe it was in 2011 when Benton County received some form of grant dollars that was going to be used for the rehabilitation of the building, essentially to be able to come in and use, I can't remember what exact dollars, actually I wasn't here, but some form of dollars to be able to do the rehab.
Mhm.
My assumption is, as part of that agreement, and at that time, this building was owned by SBCE, to be correct. And basically, I would assume by the purposes of the grant, it was required that, okay, if we're going to put this money in, it has to be used for a building that is for library services.
Mhm.
Therefore, at the time, SBCE did a easement to Benton County
Mhm.
that the building would be used for library services. Again, I'm making the assumption is that the county would have to go to the grantor and say, look, we're putting money into a building to rehab it, and we can assure you that it will be used for library services as the grant requires. So that was the easement. Fast forward from 2000, so you go to 2013, the county puts the dollars in, it's rehabbed. At that point, the quit claim deed, the property was still in the ownership of SBCE. It's never been in the ownership of the county.
Okay.
So it was deeded to the city of Monroe, but as part of that deed, it included the easement.
Mhm.
That was part, because again, grant money was put into this that said that this would be used for library services. So I just wanted to give you the context.
Mhm. Okay.
Appreciate
Again,
that.
our attorney, Vance Crony, as Steve said, is looking at this. Based on our current review, we're not sure, I mean, from a county standpoint, the building was never ours. We had the easement. And so that's been part of the discussion in terms of options to weigh. But again, we'll let our attorneys work through those
Mhm.
details, and then we can figure out where we go from there. Certainly, the county, we want to be a partner and be able to help facilitate. I support, what Ashley, or what she has been able to put forward here today. I know that obviously there's discussions that need to happen between the two cities on this, but I think we're all trying to kind of come to a place where we can continue to provide the important services to the
Right.
community. So,
Yes.
but again, in terms of a future agreement that is negotiated here, we would not be a party of it any longer, just again, because the building is gone. From our standpoint, the construction's over. So any future agreement, and that's why when you see Ashley's proposed agreement, it writes us out. And
Mhm.
it would be just between the two cities, just like any other library services. Because from our standpoint, we did the work in terms of the construction, rehabbed it. It would be our name anymore. So hope that makes sense. I know there's a lot of moving parts to all of it.
Mhm. It makes sense.
Thank you.
I also do want to make one quick clarification, and that's to say, the library services district, regardless of this IGA, continues to exist. And so community members are still paying their taxes to that service district and are still receiving services from the Benton County Library Service District. So let's say there was not a physical library building in the city of Monroe, we would still be providing library services
Mhm.
to residents of the city of Monroe. They'd still be paying taxes into that district. They would be able to go to any of the libraries. They would be eligible for delivery. We'd probably be doing outreach and other programs in the community and still be working with community partners. So when we talk about who offers library services, I mean, I suppose you could always find someone else to provide that service, but residents are being
Mhm.
taxed and receiving services through the district.
Thank you.
And so just kind of want to
Mhm.
provide some clarification there.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Ashley, I do apologize. Rick did send that to me and I will, as soon as I get, this is done, it'll be sent to everybody on
Okay.
council.
Thank you. Any other questions? We've got them here.
Sure.
We
I've
can ask them.
Got a small one. Just, I listened into a recent City of Corvallis council meeting.
Mhm.
And understood that a few councilors and maybe even the city manager might have had a meeting with you, or at least they intended to. I'm just curious if that happened, and if so,
No, there was no meeting
oh,
regarding the IGA.
yeah, specifically, they had some questions just about the relationship between the city of Corvallis and the city of Monroe that the councilors didn't.
I know the city manager sent an email to council and provided a copy of the IGA and just kind of explained, hey, here's the history of how this relationship worked. Here's a copy of the current IGA. Ashley's been working on it with council. And if they wanted to set up a meeting, they could. No one reached out and asked to set up a meeting about it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Counselor Lindner, did you have any questions?
Well, on the tail end of Counselor Winter's question, I know that there was a council meeting in which the Corvallis city manager was present and the council asked him questions directly. So I don't know if there was going to be a follow-up meeting after that. Is that the one you're referring to, Counselor, or are you?
Yes, Councilor Lindner. Yeah, as far as I recalled, those city councilors had said that they wished to have that meeting with either Ms. Chavez or someone else from the library. And I
Okay.
didn't follow up with anyone. I've been had surgery, been out of it. Sorry.
I
Yeah,
think
got it.
that the email that was sent answered people's questions and they didn't feel a need to set up a meeting with me.
Okay, I haven't followed up with
Regarding
any of them. I'm
Yeah, so no, there's currently no plans to have it on a council agenda. None of the councilors have reached out. I think they all feel comfortable with what the situation is at.
Okay.
One thing that would be helpful for me is if we had some understanding of next steps, like are we going to wait until the next work session to talk about this, talk about it sooner? I mean,
Well, I mean-
30th is not that far away.
Right, no,
We gotta wait on
we-
the attorneys
that's
to
Steve,
untangle
yeah.
everything before we can even think about moving forward. So
we can figure the easement and all of that.
I would assume that's
Legalese.
this week. I know both
Yeah.
attorneys are working with each other as. of
We can
today,
figure that
so.
out.
I can speak for Vance and I know he stands ready. We
Mhm.
knew from just some of the correspondences that were happening last week that this was probably a legal question. So we
He
are
was,
ready.
he said he was waiting for my email.
Yeah. And I don't think we heard from, is it Ms. Cooper?
Yeah, she replied to me this morning and they were gonna reach out to him this afternoon.
Okay. I don't think we've heard anything. He was going to let me know all the way up to this meeting if there was
Right.
any.
And I asked
determination.
Lori
So,
to do the same, to keep me
Okay.
informed.
yeah, let me know if there's any problems. We will do whatever we can to facilitate that discussion because we know it's
I
important.
think what you said is correct. No confusion.
So I think that's where we're at. We're waiting for the attorneys to sort it out. And then we can figure out what our path is forward. So I think the next time we're going to be meeting is our city council meeting. So I would assume that'd be the
Yep,
next opportunity. So.
Have that on the agenda.
Mhm. Okay. Well, I wish we had the proposal handy so we could go through it. Apologize for that, but we'll look through it offline. And if we have any comments or questions, we'll make sure to ask.
Okay.
So, yeah. If
you.
there's not anything else, I'm going to cut you guys loose. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, so what's next on the work session agenda is we've got accounts payable on here. We've got a piece of paper here that
You do?
we are gonna look at, it looks like.
Each month I send you, you get the financials and it's part of your consent agenda.
Right.
You have several pieces of paper in
Mhm.
there. One of them is accounts payable. And the other, which, those are the checks. And the other one, we have another one that we've slipped in there over the last many months, and it's called accounts. It's actually the last few years. It's called accounts payable paid.
Mhm.
I would feel, I told Dawn that I would feel much more comfortable if we knew exactly what accounts that are off cycle. In other words, these are folks that are neither net 10 or because they deliver their statements after council. We need, we have to pay them ahead out of the cycle of having you approve them.
Right.
So what you have before you are the charges that we pay. And so what I'd like to do is, or propose, is to have a resolution that basically puts this list before you, and that this is approved within whatever limits that we try to put the limits of what we have here before you, so that we can show an auditor basically that we are in fact, you understand what we're paying out of your direct approval. Of course, we would always give the same accounts payable paid to you, so you know what we paid
Mhm.
at council. It's just by that time, it's after the fact. So you're proving something that you don't get a chance to directly challenge or review or question before we actually, send the check. So essentially, the first one is the Amazon accounts. So we have an Amazon account that
Mhm.
is because of how they invoice us. We basically, these are things that are budgeted expenses. Anything that's, by the way, anything that's over $2,000, this goes way, way back, many, many years.
Mhm.
But as I mentioned to you before, it was done because to limit attorney charges. However, I like the idea of anything over a $2,000 purchase that is not specifically budgeted.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's say, for instance, we have a $10,000 equipment budget, and I think Mark really needs that $2,050 piece of whatever. I would come to you.
Okay.
We have it in the budget, but we did not specifically budget for it. This would be a different, say, from we budgeted $20,000 for water meters, and it's been approved through the budget committee and all that, and we spend the $20,000 on water meters. That's a different scenario because we're spending the dollars that has already been approved by the budget committee and through council. In this case, if we had anything over that $2,000 limit, other than like say for Amazon or a credit card charge, I would be coming to you if it was not specifically budgeted already. Our credit card limit, by the way, is $5,000 aggregate. So my card has a $5,000 limit on it. Don has a $2,000. However, aggregate, we cannot have, it's set up so that we have no more than $5,000 at any given time.
Okay.
So that's another control that we have. We can't just spend. You have to be able to pay,
Right.
Pay it off.
Mhm.
So some of these on here, like Chase Payment Tech, those are fees that for the use of our credit card when people charge on the credit cards. CIS insurance is $2,627.09 each month. That's how they bill us.
Okay.
ADP is $198.52. That's for the services. Monroe Telephone, they don't get it to us until the after council.
I see.
And we've talked about that in the past, but I want to make sure that that's on there. Oregon, the PERS is also one of those.
Mhm.
Pacific Power
Mhm.
is another one that we get. The Umpqua Bank analysis activity, that's a bank charge that we have because we have a commercial account with all the features. So what we're actually paying for there is what we call positive pay. In other words, we have to each time a check gets put in, someone other than the person that puts the check in has to make sure that it's correct and it's okay to pay. So there's a two-factor
Mhm.
thing. WECO is our gas for our vehicles, and of course, express bill pay, which is similar, which is going to be combined with Chase. Actually, Chase Payment Tech's going to go away, but it's the same service for that. And as you know, that folks that are using credit cards will be taking on more of that, but these are just the basic service charges associated with it. So if you have any questions on that, that, but I just wanted to make sure if you had any questions outside of council, but I would like to make sure that this is more codified in our arrangements so that you know what we're doing. And of course, anything we do like this would be also presented to you just as it always has been. I just wanted to I asked Dawn just to make sure that it was in writing.
Okay. Any questions?
Mhm.
That makes sense to me.
Mhm.
Councilor Lindner, did you have any questions?
No, no questions.
Okay. We lost Councilor Winther for a minute, so he'll come back though. Okay. You're proposing a resolution for this?
Yes, that would
Okay.
be a resolution.
Alrighty. Next up on the agenda, and this is for the council meeting on the 26th. We've got, the first item is zoning discussion.
So the planning commission has reviewed changes in our zoning, and this now needs to go to you folks for review.
Is this commercial zoning?
This is, we're changing, so this is commercial street area going commercial.
Right.
We're also looking at the area that is next to Red Hills, that 12 acres to between Red Hills and the school
Mhm.
going GRB. Red Hills is already GRB.
Mhm.
We're looking at changing the Pacific Northwest Development area
Mhm.
that is basically between 8th Street and 10th Street and over to Ash, that field, which is going to be GRB anyway. That's how it was originally proposed and built. So we're just going to make sure that is GRB, along with all the manufactured homes on 7th and 8th. So that area there. So we're taking commercial, which is GRB, this GRB section, turning it to commercial, but we're replacing it with more GRB. This is our medium density zoning.
Mhm.
So those, and also then we're also looking at the industrial land. This is where Wilbur Ellis, that we've already conditionally approved for retail, just saying, look, this is commercial. That's our commercial zone. So we'll make it commercial. And then the public land, which is currently, for whatever reason, light industrial. This is our gateway part. This is the area, that strip of land that Benton County
Right.
leased to us.
Mhm.
It's listed as light industrial. I'm not certain about that, but we're going to make it P for public, which is what it really should have been to begin with. So some of this is just kind of
Housekeeping.
housekeeping, and some of it is taking a commercial area and
Mhm.
and making sure, and it's really is just doing what we have been conditionally allowing, so that as things move forward, we don't have these
Mhm.
continued hearings that take 20 days in one group and 20 days in another group, and then 45 days over here to take action on. And also, just so you're aware, the Pacific Northwest Development Land, I
Mhm.
told you last time that, or mentioned that the Corps of Engineers received the permit. They have now sent it out for public comment to all the
Okay.
landowners nearby. So they anticipate breaking ground on that in May of next year. That would be for additional 26 homes.
Okay.
And what area is that?
This is the area, so 8th Street,
Uh-huh.
so 7th turns into,
Right.
makes the S
Okay.
corner, then you see that field off to your, a big field, that's where they're going.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's good.
Be filled with homes. Very similar to Councilor Winther's home and those, they built 8 of them.
Mhm.
And we gave them some concessions,
Mhm.
i.e. you do not have to make pavement or gutters or all that, which did upset quite a few people. We heard about that at the planning commission.
Mhm.
However, this will have full streets, full gutters, full sidewalks, an engineered drainage system
Mhm.
along with it.
Very
And
good.
sorry, Steve, how many homes do they want to build in that area?
This will be 26 homes.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other questions with regard to the zoning? piece of it?
No.
Okay. Next item is ordinance, short-term rentals.
Okay, this ordinance essentially is the ordinance that codifies what we all agreed to in the land use planning hearing. This will include the changes to the code. It will also include the permits and all the other structure that go along with it.
Mhm.
And at that point, we would be able to start the permitting for people that would like to have short-term rentals.
When do you think the permitting could start?
I would say that I'm gonna declare this to be an emergency.
Okay,
So, or take effect immediately upon passage.
okay,
And so we would be ready by the 1st of September, or
Okay.
September 2nd, I should say, or whatever, right after Labor Day,
okay.
Nice.
and get this going. So a few more weeks and short-term rentals can proceed.
Very good. Okay. Any comments or questions on that? No? Okay. Beyond that, any other business we need to discuss? Anything about you kind folks? Have anything? Counselor Lindner, do you have anything you want to discuss? Other business?
I don't think so. Steve, we had talked a little bit about some HR actions last time. Anything there with hiring or anything like that? I don't think.
The hiring for utility one is just gone out this evening. It's being posted at both OAWU and on Indeed.
Okay.
And so we should see that out in the next few days.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you for the update.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Okay.
Mhm.
If there's nothing else.
I will mention just one thing in case you see around. My grandson did volunteer to work with Mark, Public Works. Everyone's been asking me that, have you hired a new Public Works person? But no, he has volunteered. He is basically assisting. There's certain things that because he looks like he's Mark's age, but he's 16. So he can't do certain things like mow and do other things commercially, but he can certainly help.
Yeah.
And he's been doing, and he and Mark get along great. But in case you see, it's like, no, we have not hired a person yet, but Mark is getting some relief.
As a personal assistant.
Mark has, yes, he
Yes, there
thoroughly
we
enjoys
go.
it.
He's gonna feel important.
He
Be careful.
We'll go to his head.
That's it.
And I want to add, your grandson is very polite and easygoing. Seems like a very nice person. And thank you for encouraging him to volunteer. and
Thank
just get
you.
involved with the city.
You know, the Oregon Association of Water Utilities has started they're in the process of getting state certification for apprenticeship program, a formal. And we are first in line. I asked, number one, I'd like to have our utility one go through that program. And number two, we can also take on an apprentice as well.
It'd be amazing.
So,
So
you know,
cool.
this is a great way of putting young folks particularly into a pipeline. As Austin found out, he didn't know anything about Public Works either, but he found
Mhm.
out that it does so many different trades and so many different
Mhm,
things. It
it
keeps him
does.
occupied and he thoroughly
Yeah.
enjoys it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There you
That's
go.
Great.
All right. Very good. Okay. Well, I hope everyone has a lovely evening. Thank you.
You too.
Good night, folks online.
Good night.